which is called A Girl's Folly by Maurice Tournier.
Turn
Tournier?
Tournier
Tournier.
Tournier
He's a French director
Tournier.
who moved to the U.S. to make movies starting in 1914, and he's made some pretty well-respected movies. And this one is very meta.
It's
It's
I wouldn't say it's not like Matrix
okay.
Resurrections meta, but it's like
No, it's not.
it's a
Yes.
movie about making movies.
Uh, yeah. So this is it's a movie about making movies, which I feel like we needed to check this out because honestly, like we're watching these movies somewhat separated from the context of their production, where it's interesting to see the degree to which movie making has become an industry, like a big warehouses where 7 movies are being shot at the same time,
Mm.
hundreds of people organizing things. Like it's unclear. We don't have a lot of behind the scenes footage really. It's unclear like how what the movie making and movie consuming landscape are because we're watching these things on little screens on our
Yeah.
computers.
This is kind of the closest we get to like behind the scenes footage from
Yeah,
the time.
it's definitely like a kind of like Hollywood insider, like
Yeah.
only in Hollywood, baby,
There's
kind
there's a
of
bit
kind of
of
thing.
this movie is almost sort of like, see, this is how movies get made. Um,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a lot of the fun of it. Um,
hmm
this movie,
Except I say Hollywood, but it's Jersey.
yeah. That also is, I think, an interesting thing about it is that it's early enough that uh, Hollywood is not the sort of de facto like movie town.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's also like it's a Hollywood has corrupted you story,
yeah,
but it's about New Jersey.
yeah, yeah. This movie's starring Doris Canyon, who played the titular Ocean Waif uh, last
Oh, I didn't realize that was her.
last year slash episode.
Oh.
And in this, she plays a lonely country girl who discovers the magic of the pictures.
Yeah. She's dreaming of a kind of more adventurous and interesting life. She reads a lot of books and imagines a troubadour who appears in a ghostly image that, like, I feel like we've done like double exposure trickery stuff before, but like I feel like the way that she interacts back and forth with the specter is more naturalistic than a lot of the gimmicky uses before.
Yeah,
But she kind of it introduces this girl, and then it jumps to the movie biz, baby, and it starts like kind of doing the inner the inside of the studio stuff, all these like vignettes of different things happening in the movie studio in more proximate to New York City, Jersey, and she lives in rural New Jersey.
yeah. There's a funny title card that says frequently movie actors do not know the plot of the picture in which they are working, and I was like, still true. Just ask any actor from a Marvel movie. They're like, I don't even know which movie this is. I'm just showing up and shooting
really?
my lines.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of like kind of Hollywood. God, I keep saying Hollywood. There's a lot of you know,
Movie town.
movie town kind of stuff, like narcissistic stars
Yeah.
and signed photographs, like autographs being sent to people, but the autographs are being done by someone who is not the
Yeah.
star. uh,
For as much of this
and
movie is kind of like, hey, look how like movies are made. Isn't it neat? It is also kind of like, this is a vapid sort
yeah,
of
it's a little
like
cynical.
it is showing both elements to it. The sort of like the glitz and the glamour, but then also sort of this sort of like a little bit of the kind of the more kind of cynical
The fakeness of
yeah
it. Yeah.
the artifice and the the sort of the egos involved.
Um, and so there's a part where it shows like there's a movie being made on set, and there's a director who's the director playing
Mm-hmm.
himself basically
Yeah.
in the movie, and he's like having people run over scenes and uh, do different takes with different emotions and everything like that. And as he's like kind of telling the actors what to do, all of the intertitles, uh, the intertitles are having like hands moving chess pieces around on a board, which I thought was really neat.
Mm.
Um, it may be a little insulting to actors calling them pawns, but like it is interesting how it kind of draws this parallel between like setting up a complex like chess situation and being a director of a movie. And the intertitles throughout this movie do something which I feel like is kind of rare, which is they have like an original illustration for every intertitle,
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of getting the idea across of what is happening in a sort of metaphorical way, like with the chessboard, and later, when the girl is being like tempted by the sins of Hollywood or the sleaziness of Hollywood. There's like a
Of
kind
New
of
Jersey, you mean?
innocent, yeah, right. I keep saying New Jersey. There's like a kind of cherubic young girl who is the way that she's drawn in her representation in the intertitles, being tempted by like a demon, basically. uh, there's all sorts of interesting like visualizations of the ideas that they're trying to get across. Like the intertitles were kind of one of the most interesting things about the movie to me.
Yeah, I only really kind of started picking up on that partway through. But that is like a really I like seeing stuff like that. That is like using intertitles in a an original way, or as like incorporating other visual elements into them to help tell the story besides just the words on them.
Yeah.
So there's this movie that's being made sort of separately from the story of Mary, who's the lead character. Um, and we kind of meet the star of the movie named Kenneth Driscoll, who is
A motion picture idol.
yeah, who's the guy who doesn't sign his own autographs and is just kind of this like yeah, he's like a movie star, but he's also kind of he has all these sort of like young girls that follow him around, and he's flirting with them constantly, and his wife is like, ugh, god
I don't
damn
know
it.
if she's his wife. Is she his wife?
No, it's his wife, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the two plot lines kind of converge when the movie is being made out in the country where Mary lives, and she sort of sees a scene that's being filmed, like an action scene, and thinks it's real, and so she runs out to help, and runs into the scene. There's a hilarious intertitle where they say, "This poor simp ran into the scene." I really thought of you when I saw that.
Why, you think I'm a simp?
No, but just you're the one of the people I know that uses that terminology.
Yeah. Gamer words.
Yeah. And so Driscoll's there, and he's like, hey, young lady, you should be in the pictures.
And she's like, you know what? I'd like to escape my humdrum farmer life, so I will. And then she goes to the big city of New what, Jersey.
I thought
New
that
Jersey
I thought
City.
that they were going to New York.
Oh yeah. Well,
They
Yes.
they get on a train.
Yes. New York. You're
They get
right.
on a train to New York, and Mary's kind of getting shown around like the movie studio, and it's like, oh, exciting, like different people doing their jobs, all that fun stuff. And she like immediately writes a letter back to her mother, being like, I'm so excited, everyone loves me already, like this it's going great, nowhere to go but up. And then she does a screen test, shoots this scene, and then it gets screened, and she like sits down in the screening room, and they're like gonna project it, and she's all excited, and we don't actually see what the scene is. We just see like them starting it and then finishing it, and like everyone just like gets up and silently walks out.
Yeah, and you see the faces on the directors kind of turn sour as they
Yeah,
realize that she's not
but
good.
I did think that was very good, sort of like visual storytelling. We never actually see what the like scene that they shot is or her acting.
Yeah.
We just see everyone's reactions to it afterwards, and they don't say anything. There's no intertitles about it. It's just sort of like,
It's like Birdman.
yes, this movie's basically Birdman. Um, uh, but yeah, it was another example of that, of just sort of like just seeing someone's reaction and like we understand everything we need to know.
Yeah.
And so then she's sort of like, well, I guess I failed, and she's going home. But then Driscoll comes to her and tries to get her to stay because he's like, "Ah, no, stay with me. Well, I'll make you rich, kid."
Yeah.
He calls her little girl in this scene, which is like, again, like don't ever do this. Like it's not is not good. I think that there's so much of that in silent movies, and it always just creeps me out.
So she kind of like becomes a socialite for a minute.
Yeah, well, at first she's
Uh,
like, "No, I never want to see you again." She's like, "I'm
yeah.
done with this bullshit." But then she's going home. She's like, "I don't really want to go home either, so I guess I'll stay."
Yeah, and
Um,
then there's an intertitle that said, "And there emerged from the drab little cocoon a butterfly whose untainted wings were about to be singed by the flame of life."
damn.
Very, very poetic.
Yeah, really laying it on thick in those intertitles. So then, yeah, we kind of see a scene of her and Driscoll kind of in high society. Um, but then Mary's mother comes to visit her, bring with her a bunch of gifts from the country, including
Yeah.
a Nazi horseshoe.
It's not a Nazi horseshoe.
It's not a Nazi horseshoe, but they're like, there's,
Pre-World War II swastikas.
yeah, there's all these intertitles for the different gifts, and one of them is a horseshoe, and they it says a horseshoe, and in the intertitle it says the words, and then there's a picture, like a drawing of a horseshoe, and then as like decoration along the bottom of it are a bunch of, pre-Nazi swastikas, so like they're inverted or whatever.
designs. They're just
Right,
designs.
but it's very jarring to just be like, oh yeah, and one of
Yes.
these is just a horseshoe, and then just there being like 25 swastikas on screen, and it's like, whoa, Jesus. Her mother is like, oh, Mary, I miss you. I'm all alone in the country, and she's like, fine, I guess I'll go home. Like, I don't really like living with this asshole either. And so she goes back to live with her mother, and Driscoll kind of goes back to his wife. And we see the movie ends with Mary sort of getting off the train in rural New Jersey. And there's this sort of like farm man who's been trying to flirt with her the whole beginning of the movie, and he meets her at the train station, and they go off together. And as they're going off together, we see two of the railroad workers, and one of them's like, "Oh, ain't that romantic?" Romantic spelled with a
Tick.
yeah. And the other guy goes, "Romantic nothing. That's moving pictures," and that's the end. Moving pictures, like IN apostrophe, like it's spelled out with the accent.
I like when I enjoy when they put accents in the intertitles, except when they do it in a racist way.
Which is usually when they're doing it in a racist way.
Yes.
But when it's done in just more casual, like New Jersey accent, I'm okay with it. And that's that movie.
That's the picture.
Yeah, that's
It's
that picture.
yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah, it's nothing like compared to like Target Vegan or Straight Shooting, both of which I think are like very solid, good movies. This one isn't
Yeah.
doing anything particularly special, but it's definitely an interesting sort of window into the time period. Kind of in
Yeah,
the
for
same
sure.
way that The Little American is also.
I also want to point out that while they're in their high society party, they pass a shoe around the table, and each person like puts a little bit of their cocktail into the shoe. And
I don't know what
then
that was.
The guy drinks like the suicide
Yeah.
cocktail out of the shoe.
I guess that was just a
iconic.
common party game
That was wild.
back in 1917. That's what you did at parties. You put everyone's drinking a shoe and drank the shoe drink.